Hello everyone, it's Comfort Beats and Bass and welcome to another episode where we're going to talk about the PHP operators. Before we could go further, let's create a new file. So this file, I'm going to name it episode 6, PHP operators dot php. So you can name files in any way you want, but never forget the extension. Okay, so we're going to start the code here, PHP. We begin with the syntax before you could start the introduction. So now, before you could write more codes here, let's start by familiarizing ourselves with what operators are in programming. So, we use operators in programming when we want to perform some mathematical operations or when we want to perform some mathematics either on variables or just the values. Yeah, so what should come into your mind whenever you hear anything like operators? Just know that we're dealing with mathematics. Operators have to do with mathematics. Like if you want to find the age of a certain individual who was born in 2001, so we just have to say uh, the current year minus 2001, which is 2023 minus 2001, that evaluates to 22. Yeah, so that whole thing is called, it cannot be achieved without the operators. So now, why do we need operators when we are programming? Yeah, so programming makes more sense when you start performing some mathematics and I'm 100% sure that there's no program which exists which doesn't involve any mathematical operations. So whenever I want to perform mathematical operations, comparisons, and some other mathematics, we simply use the operators. Okay, so now talking is cheap. So now let's start writing out some codes. Okay, so I'm going to comment out up here to say PHP operators. Okay, so let me open my notepad so that we see the operators that we are going to cover. Okay, there are a number of operators in PHP, but I just want us to focus on I just want us to focus on the mostly used for uh, this episode, since I'm pretty sure that in the industry, what we are going to cover in this episode is what is mostly used in the industry. So we're going to start by addition, subtraction, subtraction. Go to division. Talk about modulus, modulus. We Yeah, addition, subtraction, division, and modulus. What? Oh, and let's also talk about multiplication. Multiplication. Yeah. So these are the mostly used operators in programming. Okay, so we're going to start with addition. Let's see exactly how we can use addition. So we have let's say we have two variables. We are going to say balance one and balance two, and then let's say we want to add them up together, and so that we could come up with a total. So what are we going to do here? We're going to first declare the balance variables. We're going to say balance. So I'm going to say balance one is equals to 4. Balance balance two is equals to let's say 10. 10. So now let's say if we now want to add up these two, so we could just say let me write down a comment to say add up. So we simply use the plus sign when we're dealing with addition. It's the addition, an addition operator to be precisely. So let's say total balance. So as your assignment operator here, and then uh, so even this equal to sign is also an operator in programming. It's just that with this equal to sign, we mostly use it to assign the variables to assign values to variables, and also when making some comparisons. We're going to talk about the comparison operators soon in the incoming episodes. Okay, so what we are just going to do is we say, since we just want to add these two, so what we're going to do is we're just going to write balance one, and then you add plus balance 2. So if so, this should evaluate to 14, since 10 plus 4 here, balance 1 is equals to 4 and balance 2 is equals to 10. So this is what you are trying to do here. We're trying to add balance 1, which is 4, and balance 2, which is to 10. So the value must the total must evaluate to 14. So let's see. Just going to see echo the total balance is, then let's leave out some space, a dot for concatenation. Like I always say, when you're trying to connect a variable into a string, we use concatenation, which is the joining. And then we're just going to add a point here for concatenation. And then we're just going to say total balance. So the total balance is, okay, so now I'm going to start my XAMP, my XAMPP. I refresh and then I open that file. Okay, it seems like my exam. Okay, so the total balance is 14. You see, it has given us 14. So to see this clearly, I'm going to eliminate the others so that we could just see only the value. So it has given us 14, which is true, which is true. So this is how we use the addition, which is just which is just adding up. Okay, so apart from just adding up the variables, we can also add up things by just the values themselves, by just using the values themselves. So what we're just going to say, or maybe let's say total edges is equals to, let's say other one is 22 and the other one is plus 21. Now I've forgotten something. Okay, so total edges is equals to 21 plus 22. Yeah, so even this one, it should work. So if I come here, I get rid of this echo. So 21 plus 22 total edges. Okay, let's see if my XAMPP is running. Yeah, it's running. So we see it has given us 43, which is cool. So 21 plus 20, 21 plus 22 here, it's 43. So there are two ways of adding. You could either just add up by using the variables here. You can just calculate the variables, but always make sure that those variables are holding the integers or the floating point uh, values. Otherwise, addition will not work. Okay, so I'm going to comment out this echo. So let's now talk about subtraction. Okay, subtraction. We use subtraction just like the same way we do when we are dealing in mathematics, like to remove some things or to eliminate some. Yeah, from a given value. Okay, so same thing here. We're going to say, or maybe let's say if you want to calculate the age of somebody who was born in let's say 2001. So we're going to say age is equals to, okay, so two ways even here. We're going to say first age. I'm going to give it first age, and then here we can just say okay, so here I'm going to name this one as uh year of birth, or maybe let me just say a birth year, of which I'm going to say 2001, and here we're just going to current year, current year is equals to 2023. 2023. So now, if we want to find now like a year in which this individual, so if we want to find the age of this individual, we'd have to subtract 2023, which is the current year as at now. We have to subtract 2001 from 2023, which is 2023 minus 2001. So let's go. Let's see. Okay. Uh, age is equals to birth year minus, oh sorry, current year. It's going to give us a negative if we start the other way around. Current year minus birth year. So we simply use this minus sign just like we do it in mathematics, and then what we are just going to do here is to verify. So it should give us 22. So let's try to echo out 20. Let's age. So let's display age now. Okay. Uh, okay. Age. Let's display age. Okay, so it has given us 22, which is correct. So even here, you could either go this way or just by using the values directly. So even if we try to say by value, age by value, just going to say 2023 minus 2001. Even this other method. Okay, so other method, even this other method, it's the same as this one. It's just that here these values are not in variable form. So even if we try to echo out age by value here, it will still work. It's going to give us 22. It's going to give us 22. Yep. So now we are done with subtraction. Let's go to division. So division uses something different, a different operator sign compared to what you have covered for addition and subtraction. That direct as the way we do in basic math. Okay, so now let's go to division. Okay, a comment here, division. Okay, so if you want to divide, if we want to divide, we simply use the forward slash. We use the forward slash sign. Or in programming, we just use the division sign, which is a forward slash. So let's say if we want to divide, let's say if we want to divide, what do we have here? If we want to divide birth year, we have birth year here, the birth year variable here. So I'm just going to say uh, divide. Okay, okay, or maybe let's say we want to find the difference. Oh, okay, no, we have already covered subtraction where we find the difference. So now let's say if we want to divide 2020, or let's say if we want to divide a certain value, so we're going to say divide is equals to, okay, so this is just a variable name. You can name it whatever you want, but with me I've decided to use divide. You're just going to, so I'm going to use the already declared variables here. So I'm just going to say 2023. Okay, uh so I'm going to say base year, base year, Yes, yeah, divide by. Okay, take note of it. We don't use that divine sign. That is that we use in basic mathematics, but in programming for division, we simply use forward slash, and then we say uh, current year, current year. So now we have achieved division here. Okay, so what do we see? What do we do? Let's display now. Okay, let's display divide. It should work. Okay, so it has given us this value. It has given us this value. Yeah. Okay, same thing here. Even if you want, you could just go divide, divide method 2. Divide method 2 is equals to, same thing here. Base year 2001 divide by 2023. Same. It will still give us the same value. just to give us the same value if we had to display. But for now, okay, so we have covered division, modulus. Okay, so use modulus in we use modulus to find the remainder. Okay, so like if I want to find a remainder that that a certain number or a certain digit leaves when it is divided, yeah, when it is divided into another number. Yeah, so let's go. Let's go to modulus. Okay, so we're going to say remainder. Okay, so let's say we want to find the remainder of uh 5 into 2. Okay, so 5 into 2. So when we're dealing with modulus, we use the percent. So 5 modulo 2. Let's see what's going to give us. And I'm going to say echo remainder. Okay. Okay, so it has given us 1. So which means 2 2 into 5, it gives a remainder of 1, which is true. What of 2 into 10? It should be 0, since 2 does not leave a remainder there into 10. So what of let's say 3 into 10? 3 into 10, 3, so 10 modulo 3. Let's see a remainder that it leaves out. Okay, so 3, which is correct. Yeah, so this is how we use the remainder. So same thing here. If we wanted to, we could just say method 2. Method 2, we're just going to use the already declared variables here rather than starting up, repeating the same thing. So we're just going to say balance 1. Okay, so balance 1 is coming from here. It's a variable which I've already declared, and balance 2 is coming from here. So I'm going to pick these two variables. Okay, so we're just going to say mm, balance 1 modulo balance 2. Balance 2. And see what the remainder here. Okay, okay. Okay, method 2. Let's see what you're going to have here. Okay. Okay, so here I have 4, which is very correct here. Balance 1 modulo balance 2, which is here. But 4 modulo 10, which yeah, yeah, which is true. Since if the number is mostly if the number is less than if the number is less than the number that you are trying to find the modulo of, and you have put it at first on the left side there, mostly the outcome should be the very number. Yeah, which is true. So let's see, maybe balance 2, balance 1, balance 1. Okay. Okay, 2. Sure. So which means 4 into 10 leaves a remainder of 2. Yep, which is very true. Okay, what else? Multiplication. Cool. Okay, so now let's now talk about multiplication. So multiplication, we mostly use we use multiplication in mathematics to uh, multiply or to see how many times that number could a certain digit could go. Uh, how many times? No. Okay, Okay, so I don't know how I could explain this. So this multiplication thing here, in mathematics, we mostly we mostly use multiplication. Okay. Okay, how can I describe this? So we use multiplication in mathematics to find how many times a number can a value that can be a value that can be produced if it's distributed into each and every value. So that's the simplest I could define multiplication in mathematics. Okay, so now let's get started. Let's see how we can achieve multiplication in mathematics. So let me comment it out. Multiplication. So we're going to say value 1, which is equals to 4. Then value 2 equals to another, let's say 8. Or maybe let's just give it 2. Yeah, so now let's see if we had to distribute 2 into 4. So we're going to multiply each value of 4 by 2. Okay, so now let's see total, total multiplication is equals to. So what you're just going to do here is value 1. And then when we are coding for multiplication, we simply use the asterisk rather than this but times. No, this does not apply in programming. So we're going to use an asterisk. We're going to use an asterisk and then value 2. Okay, so this 2 times 4 should give us 8. So we're going to say total total multiplication. Okay, so I'm going to see how this will go. Okay. Okay, so it has given us 8, which is correct. So even here, there are two ways of achieving multiplication. If we want, we could just go with method 2, multiplication. Okay, method 2, total method 2, which we could just say 4 times 2. So 4 multiplied by 2. It's the same thing here. It just has to do with the programmer's preference and the reusability of code. Okay, so we get 8 again. Yeah, so for now we end from here. So these are the basic PHP operators that we're going to be using in this tutorial series whenever they are required. And thank you guys for your patience and for following me up through this journey. And see you in the next episode. Cheers.